What is going on? Good morning. It's Friday, April 8th, 9:23 a.m. Eastern Time. Let's get the ball rolling. BFRI got some activity going on, getting a nice run up from that 350s up there to 460s, hitting a high of 550 pre-market. This one's in a good shot for a nice little squeeze. SBFM just fell off a cliff. Looks like they probably did an offering. What happened here? Form 424B3. So an offering on resale. 7.2 million shares. It's a lot of shares. $2.51 per share. Party's over. That was a heck of a run up for SBFM. Let me delete all these lines. In case you guys didn't see that new video I posted for you guys, right click on your charts, go to manage chart drawings, and it's going to pull up all your drawings in the history. Make sure you go through and delete all of these, because you will start to get message once you accumulate a lot of lines on all those different charts. So every day when I log in, I got to go through this list and delete like 50 ticker symbols a day. Stop getting messages. Nice, you guys called out that offering, Frank. Epic. Just a matter of time, man. These small cap garbage penny stocks, they're all desperate for money. They want to grow. That's a heck of a run up from $2.30 running up to $12. That's insane. I'd want to take profit too, wouldn't you? Yeah, this BWV, I'm sorry. That's the ticker symbol. BWV. BWV. Yeah, Rome called this out yesterday, and it got beat down from $62 a share all the way down here to $10. So we could see a nice dead cat bounce on BWV. Let's see, it started to fall off right there and it bottomed out at $9. This thing, 50% is up there at $34. So this thing could just get momentum and just start taking off. First level it's going to run to is $20. No, I don't see anything about a split, man. If it was a split, it would say something on my chart. So I have it set up to spot when stocks do splits. Right there. I have it checked. Splits, earnings, and dividends. I'll check that one too. So if this stock did a split recently, it would have an S with a little circle. This thing's primed and ready for a bounce. Needs to break about 14.50, $15 to get up and go, and this one could just straight up haul up nonstop. The low float stock too. Float's only 4.2 million. Hey, good morning, Marty. Good morning, Rome. Yeah, I'm not sure why. Looking through the press releases for this BWV, I'm not sure why it had just a huge downfall like that. I think that this is the one to watch, BWV. There she goes, running up to 14. This stock's gonna halt, you guys. It's gonna halt right here. I'm not in on this stock yet. I want this market to open up. SST, that stock's still going. That was a good call out. SST. I swung this yesterday. Wednesday. I got in on SST just above $20. Yesterday I sold it up near 27 when it was pushing right here. About midday I sold it. That was a nice one. I only had 200 shares. I made like $1,500 on it. Who knows how high this one goes? It's a new name IPO too. AMC just had a drop off. SPY's selling off. BBAI. You're going to want to see BBAI hold up at, I think, this 1150s. Because that's where it broke up from that wedge right here. 1150, $12 area there. This one can build up off that. It's got room to run up to 14, 15, 16. And gotta take it $1 levels. 3-minute looks good too. Yeah, this one's worth watching. BBAI. I got it up on the where I got all my charts. This BWV, let's see, we gotta hold 1250. So 1250 right here, we gotta hold that for any continuation up. This ATER had a good comeback. Looks like it's trying to set up for another squeeze. Shorts are underwater. That's an epic run up there from 320s up to 5. That's a big run up there non-stop. I'm gonna throw ATER up. Give that BWV time. Let that one set up. Who knows? It may not even bounce at all. We already know. Stocks don't necessarily have to bounce. They don't have to. We've seen a lot of examples before. Stocks have huge sell-offs and never bounced. But it's a good strategy still to throw in your pocket. Maybe she'll come back later on. Why it's good to let this market open up. You never know the true direction within the first 15 to 30 minutes. BBAI held that $12. It's pushing up to $12.50, $16 or 13, I'm sorry. This one's looking like a good one, BBAI. Good call, VW. And that SGLY is still trucking. It came 50 cents short, or 25 cents short of that $20. It's still technically holding trend. It still hasn't gone euphoric yet either. We were watching this one. When was it? I believe it was like Tuesday or something. We were watching it. Or no, it was right here on this day. We were watching it on this day. Volume was super light on it. It flushed out down here to 1620s. But it recouped. You may see a nice little bounce here on LGVN. This stock sold off for 5 straight days. This one was a previous runner. You'll see it pop up to probably 12 bucks, I'm seeing. Twitter's getting a nice rebound. Twitter can run up here to about 50 bucks. Look at how fast IMTE crumbled. Remember IMTE was trending up right here? These types of stocks, when they're trending up like that, when they break trend, they crumble hard. Look at that downfall. From 35 bucks, it's all the way down here to 11.50. So it was trending up all of March, and it gave back pretty much 70% of its run up here within the last 2 days. TKAT. TKAT, this one likes to run, man. If it can build off of that, it's looking like 370s right now. It can run up to 4. Breaks up over 4. We're going to run up here to 450. There goes TKAT running up. That was a good one. daily chart, TKAT, it can run up there to about 570s. SST's looking like it wants to squeeze up higher too. And this BWV, it's got potential. Let's see if it can start building off of that 12 bucks. If we can build off of 12, we're looking good. I'm gonna put an alert on this. I'm gonna say 1350. Minute looks good on BWV. I just like how it's gearing up right here. It's trying to set up reverse. It's got all this room here it can run up. LGVN still gearing up there at 1050. BEKE getting a good ramp. Trying to see here. I thought I took a picture of it yesterday. TKAT still looking good. It's gearing up, pulling back for that $4 break. SST's testing at 32 high. The stock could definitely see $50 today. And BWV is just gearing up. I think this one's gonna explode. It's holding that $12 like a champ. Could explode up to 14, pull back, 13, build up, break over that 14 and get going. Yeah, I feel you, Hawk. That 3-minute looks good too. And it held yesterday's halt level, $12. There she starts to go. She's running up to 13. She's got a lot of room to run, man. $13.20s. Be careful with your size. This is the type of stock. It's gonna fluctuate up and down around $1, $1.50 effortlessly. So your size is gonna be important for this stock. I'm not looking to scalp this. I'm looking for more big picture type move. Like I want to make at least $5 or more on a stock like this. It's got a lot of room to run to the upside. So I think we push up to 14 and then pull back down here to 13, 1270s, build up for that 14 break. So far, it's ran up from 12 to 14 bucks. It's $2 nonstop. Don't break over 14 here. Don't. I'm not chasing after it right now. You're stupid if you chase after it running up $2 like that. Let it get a pullback here at about 12.50. She's gearing up for that 14 break. And then once she breaks up over 14, it's on. She's got a lot of room to run. This is the pullback right here. I think this is the one. I'll go for it. It's gonna be hard because you want to give the stock room to move. 12.50 it can pull back down to. So really you'd be putting your stop down here below 12 in that low of day. Like I said, be careful with your size. And this isn't a stock I'd be looking to sell into the first pop. This is something I'd be looking to ride up to about 20 bucks. It's still building. It has that look. It's already got 5.5 million in volume. Yeah, that's what I was saying this morning. I was looking through the press releases and I didn't see any reason why this stock dropped off. $13.50, 14. She could go. She's primed and ready pretty much. Just be careful with your size if you jump in on something like this. I picked up 400 shares. Dang, Twitter's falling off a cliff. Come on, BWV, you're taking too long. Yup, look at the price action on that bad boy. See how that could easily freak you out if your size is too big? You have like 200 shares, 300 shares. The price action, you'll be able to hold it through these swings like this. Focus more on the big picture. I'll give it till 12, that low of day. Almost has that same look like SST. I'm not giving up on BWV yet, but real quickly on SST, like you could see all day how they were pulling it back tightly like that. See what I'm saying? And then it started to lift up and look at how far it went. Same thing applies here with BWV. You got to look at how far this thing got beat down so hard nonstop with no upside momentum bounce whatsoever. Now it's gearing up pre-market here. Focus on the big picture. If we can level up and just build in levels, it's tightly pulling back like this. Just give it time. Later, you could see it now, but then watch, like later on in the day, it's all the way up at like $40 and you're like, dang it, I seen it. I'm thinking like this level right here. See how tightly they're pulling it back. Let it gear up later on. Time is the only thing, and that's going to rifle up. MDVL. This is a true penny stock. Yeah, it's up 80% on the day. That's what sucks with these small penny stocks like this. Under $2, $3. A 50-cent, 25-cent move. Man, that's like a 100%, 75% move in the finance world. That's a huge move. This has got room though to run up to that 200-day moving average up there at 330. Yeah, if MNTS holds up at that $4, holds above that, you're looking good for a potential squeeze up over 450. The float on it 75 million though. ATR is squeezing. Rip up to 5, up over 5, it can really start skipping. Yeah, look at this thing, man. It was at right here. It was at fractions of a penny. 0.0312 cent. So 3 pennies. Then it's up here to 250. Not giving up on BWV yet. This thing, it's going to come down to time. Just like what I was seeing with SST. We were looking at this in the morning. This thing took all day to set up. Yeah, I got a small position on BWV2. I'm not even stressed about it, man. I'm giving it room to do its thing. I see the potential. And I'm not, like I said, I'm not looking to sell into the first pop. This is something, if it starts up and running, I'm going to let it run, man, up to 20. Maybe even over 20. This is more of a big picture play here. This thing, I could just see it. It's going to explode up. It's just a matter of time. BWV, it's now at 6.3 million in volume, so volume is slowly pouring into it. TKAT, look at that tight pullback. $4 all the way down to 4. This one will get a good snap up to 370s. It's still technically bullish. What's that one? MOXC? This one ran in the past. Yeah, if you could build off that $2, the daily does look good. ATER's got a lot of volume pouring into it. It's got 37 million in volume so far. Just playing the waiting game now. Playing the waiting game with this BWV. I don't even want to look at it. I just want to allow it to do its thing. I trust in the setup. I trust in the play. It's just going to take time. It's gotta be. Let's see. It's gotta be freshly on my watch list. This was last week. Was it the newer IPO FRGE? Like fridge? FRGE squeezed up last week. LGVN. It was LGVN. I think I pulled a chart. Let me see. Yeah, SGLY, SGML. Those are hard ones to trade, the ones that just keep trending up like that. Let me see, I think I pulled up a chart last week on LGVN. Now we're going back to March. could have sworn we just had I had a chart right here of LGVN. That's old. I thought I shared a chart on LGVN. I could be wrong. Was it this day right here? Or the day before that? March 31st. That was on a Thursday. I'm trying to occupy my time right now because I don't want to be staring at that BWV. I want it to do its thing. All right, so the March 31st, we were talking about it in the morning. 10:12, we said it had a nice setup. Hawk, you said it had good support at 9. You think it's going. Shorts are all over it. If 9 doesn't break, it can push up and shorts are gonna bail. Squeeze over 10. Ran to $12. And usually someone in here posts a chart. There was a good one there on IGMS. See? It is just about focusing on the big picture. Who posted this? I think it was Frank. Yeah. Frank. This is 3 days of trading right here. And you're focusing on that big picture. Stock pulled back here. It broke up out of that trend line. And it was holding above that trend line and $26. If you just focus on that price level and look for the stock in general to build off of that, stop trying to stress yourself out over exact to the penny where it's gonna bottom at. Just focus on the general area of interest. And from 26, this stock ran up to 28. IGMS, what it ultimately ended up doing. Topped out at 28 bucks, 28.50. There you go with BBAI. This one flushed out to 11.50 and then built all the way back up to new highs. But if you look at the big picture of it, it can be hard, man, with these stocks. That's why it's like good to focus on the big picture always at hand. Because with that flush out there, all it really did was it pulled back to the pattern where it broke out from right there. That $11.50 area, and then built up off of it, and technically it's still bullish. That's why that 1 minute chart, it can punk you out, as I would say, or I like to say. Look at that wedge from yesterday. Draw a line straight across. All it did was pull back right to the pattern area where it broke out. Look at it. It's pushing up to new highs. Always focus on the big picture at hand. See, if you were zoomed in on this, it would have totally screwed you up. BWV wedging out. A few wedges on this. It'll pop up here to 1350. Up over 1350, 14. That's when it could really start to run. I mean, it has that look, doesn't it? Just has that look. Now we're running up to 1350. Be careful with your size. Stock like this, gotta be comfortable with the price action. They're gonna play some mind games with this. I'm thinking 1150 they're going to bring it down to. It's hard, man. Trying to focus on the big picture at hand here. I don't want this to be a play. It's going to take all day for it to set up and do its thing and then run at the very end of the day. I don't want to stick around all day on a Friday. You could tell they're purposely holding it back, though. Look at that 10-minute. I mean, it's ready. Perks up. It's building up right here for that push up. Run up to about 20 bucks. But it can also, our plan could not pan out and it could fail. Just focus on the area. Let it build up. Yep. That's why you gotta be careful with your size on something like this. I've come to learn, if you come to the realization, big picture ideas like this, you gotta give the stock room to move, breathe. If you see it going up higher, don't stress yourself out over exact prices. Because look at, what was that one? SST? Go back 2 days ago. This all action right here. When we were looking at this, and it had that big downfall here, and it got drilled down like that, and then it popped up pre-market here. Same setup as BWV. It popped up pre-market here and it was holding up. And you could just tell they were holding it back. And it was building up like it was coiling. And we were looking at it here at 20 bucks for it to build up off of 20. And look at how much further they brought this down. They brought it down to $18. They bottomed it at 18 and then they started to build it back up and it came back at the end of the day. So this took all day to set up. And then that's when I decided to swing it overnight. And fast forward to the next day, look what it did. Was gapping up to 25, and then look at the price action in the morning there. From 23, it rips up here to 26, and then in a couple candles flushes out to 22 bucks. That's a $4 range right there. And then it builds all the way back up, runs up to new highs. And then going into today, look at where it's at. It hit a high of $34. So with these stocks, that's a lot of upside, man. $18 right there runs all the way up to 34 bucks. $16 a share. It ran up there. All based on too, you could draw out a trend line clear as day. It held trend. Still is, as it's coming down right now. Right at its trend, so it's technically still bullish, even though it looks like crap today, you know? I just have this feeling with BWV, I'm gonna be looking at a different stock, and someone in chat's gonna say BWV halted upside, and I'm gonna pull it up, and it's gonna have a huge green candle up to $16, and it's halted. I'm gonna record something real quick. Always focus on the big picture, big idea. It can be hard, especially when you're zoomed in on your chart like this on a 1 minute time frame. You're looking at a stock here, for example, BBAI. It opens up, you get a nice little push right here, then it gets a nasty flush out, and then it just trends all the way back up to new highs. And the stock's got big range. It was one moment up here at $12.60, and then it flushes out to $11.60s. That's a $1 per share flush out. Then it grinds up $1.50 to new highs. You're telling yourself, man, I screwed it all up, and the stock came back, and I would have been up in the profit if you were to focus on a stock like this. It's always a good habit to zoom out on your charts to see the big picture at hand, the overall trend. When you zoom out on your charts, you could see this stock recently had a big downfall, and then it bottoms out here at this $10 and starts building up off of 10. Going back to yesterday, all this stock really did was set up a basic pattern that everybody is taught to look out for. This is technical analysis 101. Everybody's taught to look out for triangles, wedges. These are basic, easy patterns. This stock perks up pre-market here, gets a nice little pop, and when it flushes out, anytime you have a stock, either if it breaks out from the upside or the downside from a specific pattern, Always look for that stock to come back to the area it broke out from, that pattern, and either hold as resistance or support. You could see here, this stock after hours popped up out of the pattern. It was holding as support. It fell through it, came back. Then this morning pre-market, we're gapping up. We're gapping up and out of that pattern. So where would you be wanting to look for this pattern to hold, for this stock to hold up for any type of move higher? You'd be looking at that $11.50 for the stock if it pulls back from $12.25, its highs up here. If it pulls back, you're going to be looking for that $11.50 area to hold up and for the stock to build up off of that area for any type of bullish move to the upside. And you could see with the price action here this morning, how quickly prices shot down and then bounced right up off of it. And if you were to focus on the big picture at hand, and it can be hard to do this, but with time, practice, you're getting that experience and screen time in. By seeing this stuff over and over and over again, you just become adaptive to it. So a good play on BBAI here if you knew what you were doing. Prices quickly flushed out, bounced off that $11.50, and it's got a nice trend all the way up to 13.20s. That's a nice almost $2 per share run right there, from $9.40 to $10.50. So in 1 hour, this stock moves up $2 a share. Just focus on the big picture at hand. Always the big picture. Don't let price action punk you out. Don't let that 1 minute chart punk you out. And even looking at bigger time frames. Look at here on the 3 minute chart, for example. You could see clear as day. The stock set up a triangle and a wedge right there. The stock rips up out of that pattern. It pulls back. Look at right where it bottomed out at. Right at that 11.50 and where it broke out from that pattern, and up she goes. Areas of interest, levels, focus. Don't overcomplicate things. That's why I tell a lot of people, especially if you're new, keep your charts clean. Don't rely on indicators. Focus on the candlesticks, chart patterns. Don't overcomplicate it, because you're going to overlook the simplicity of it. And that's the way it should be. Simplicity. Look at these charts as if they're art. Chart pattern, breakout basics, I would say. I'll name that one. Makes sense though, doesn't it? When you put it all together here with BBAI. And by you guys, I know it's always a lot easier to put things together after the fact when you're going back and putting this all together like this. It's a lot easier to do that versus real time. But by going back and putting all of this together, you guys, you're training your eyes. And then once you train your eyes to spot these patterns and identify them, then you got to get over that hurdle of trusting yourself. Once you start trusting yourself and trusting in the education and the information that you know, that is when you're going to start making money. And that is when you're going to start making your own money. And a lot of people battle with trust issues because then first they'll go on a winning streak and they'll get a big head and they'll lose it all. They'll get stubborn, they'll start losing, they don't want to admit defeat, and then they'll give back weeks and months worth of profit in a couple days because they get stubborn. It happens to all of us. It's all just a big learning curve and a learning process, and you got to go through it to understand it pretty much. I can give you guys a heads up from the experiences that I've went through and situations that I've been in. I can give you a heads up, which a lot of things you got to go through personally yourself. NEGG still holding its uptrend. Yeah, it sure is. See, just by looking at like a 1 minute chart like this, you can't even tell that this stock is in an uptrend. All you see is up moves, down moves, up moves, down moves. Even on the 3 minute chart, you can't even really tell that the stock's in a solid like uptrend. But when you look over at the 10 minute, like you could scroll out on this and easily connect the higher lows. The stock's been trending up since the beginning of April. The very first day of April, from 6 running up to 9. Always focus on the big picture at hand. Stocks always in 3 stages, either one of 3 stages. The stock is either, and you got to identify what stage is the stock currently in. Is it in a uptrend? Is it in a downtrend? Or is it consolidating? There's only 3 stages. So it's up to you to identify what stage that stock is in. If it's in a downtrend, then you should have a bearish outlook on it until the chart proves otherwise, right? The stock is in a solid uptrend, which this one clearly is. You should have a bullish outlook on it. The stock's consolidating, just going back and forth in a range. What's a good example for that one? Usually Uber does a lot of range. See, so like Uber right now, when you look at the 10 minute on this, it's currently in a steep downtrend. So you're out down channel too. So you'd be bearish outlook on this. Trying to find something with range, just back and forth. See, the SPY here on the 10 minute got a steep down sell here, and then it bottomed, rips up, and all that really is right, that bounce right there, right here, pretty much like a 50% bounce. Comes back down, rips back up. Tell there's a lot of resistance up right there. Then the stock gets drilled all the way back down. So it's like ranging out and consolidating, and it's testing its bottom. Got denied right there. Comes back up, and then one morning it's breaking up over that top part of this range right here. And then it flushes out, and that's what we call a trap right there. Bears got trapped right there because it fell through that old resistance. Now should have been support there. Trapped the bears, and look, they ultimately got they just got squeezed hard right there. That's what happened. Charts are all going to come in different patterns, sizes. They're all going to be different. That's why I like to tell you guys, look at charts. It's art. We're all going to look at them differently. Yeah, thanks for reminding me, Frank. I've been trying to take my mind off of it. I'm just messing with you, dude. It's gonna take time, man. It's gonna take time. This BVW, I feel like it's gonna... I'm probably gonna be holding it all day. I may even end up holding it over the weekend. I don't know. But they can flush it out to 12. Down here to 1150. It's just all about timing right now, man. I don't have a big position on it or anything, so probably because Jay Calvin, probably because you don't have settled funds. Eek, look at LGVN. It grinded up to 11 and then flushes out all the way down to 950s just about. See, when these stocks get hot, and this is what I like to tell myself a lot, when these penny stocks, these garbage penny stocks, when they get hot and when they run from $6.50, runs all the way up to a high of $16.50, when it's running up to like $16.50, I like to tell myself, like, this stock is so far gone from reality, it's untouchable now up here at $16 a share. It's got no business being valued up this high because it just ran up $10 a share. So they're going to crumble. When they crack and crumble, they're going to crumble hard. And that's why a lot of short sellers, they like to all pile in on these small cap stocks because they know how hard they can crack and crumble. But what short sellers do, they all pile in on these stocks and they try to top pick it. And when they start top picking, the stock keeps squeezing up higher, becoming more gone from reality. You can see some pretty outrageous short squeezes and small caps. And then once they do start cracking, they fall really hard. I mean, look at the stock came, ran up to 1650, came back, retested it, and failed to break out higher. Starts to crack right there. There's your last pop right there. So shorts, they're putting their risk all above 1650, the new highs, they're entering in right here. They ride it down. It's a nice $5 ride right there. And you got a quick consolidation. And then now it's falling down even lower. The stock's going to fall all the way back down here to 7. That's why new people, you can't fall in love with these small cap stocks. They're garbage. We see different small cap stocks pop up every day. That's good, Rome C. You guys have a lot more patience than I do. That's good. Everything else, though, it ain't looking good. Oh, snap. The SPY came back. Look at that comeback. It's a good comeback for the SPY. Yeah. $4 move. $5 move. You'll hear a lot of like professionals, they won't say like $4 or $5 move. They like to use like points. So the SPY, it's up 5 points today from its low. I think it's like a psychological thing. Isn't that crazy? Back in the day in the stock market, they didn't have decimals. They used fractions. So the S&P 500 was at 450.25. 450.25. They would say the SPY's at 450 and 1/4. Let's do a little trivia. What year would you say the stock market stopped using fractions and went to the decimal system? I'll look it up. I'm going to say mid 90s. I'll say 95. If you guys were to guess what year the stock market switched over to the decimal system from the fractions, what year would you say? I said 1995. So if you guys are still confused on what I'm talking about, back in the day, like the SPY rate now, it's at 449.75. That's today. Back in the day, they would have said it's at 449 and 3/4. That's what they would have said. So they implemented the decimal system right there, the decimal. In what year? Hawk says he has no clue. Frank says 0. Rome says 1991. 0 clue. I got you now. 2001 was the year they did that. When did the stock market switch to the decimal numbers? Before April 9th, 2001, when the Securities and Exchange Commission ordered all U.S. stock markets to switch to the decimal system. Prices were reported and stocks were denominated in fractions, in 1/16 to be exact. Honda guy said 1996. BWV fell out. Down through 12. I'm going to give this one a little bit more room. I'm still sticking with it. Look at everything across the board. Really, the only thing that performed with BBAI that's pretty much it. BFRI stalled out. Not giving up on BWV. This stock's gonna play mind games. MDVL, this is trying to gear up. This is that penny stock that one guy called out earlier. Let's see if you can continue to build off of 225. Got a good shot pushing up. Yo, this TSRI, this is a nano float stock. The float on this is only 800K. Right there. 800K float. Looking at the daily chart, it's up near its highs. Multi-year highs. So if this starts to break up over 15, 16, this could be like a pump and dump. It's trending up right now, so there may be a chat room out there pumping this stock. TKAT still looks good too. Building off that 350. Even on the 10-minute here, look at this. This stock wedged out. It wedged out once again. Pulls back, holds at the area it broke out from that pattern. 350. Gonna run up here to 4. Breaks up over 4, runs up here to 450. So this is a good one for part 2 here. Here's another example of a basic pattern breakout. We're looking at a 10-minute chart here, TKAT. You can easily identify with your eyes that there was a wedge or a triangle that formed right here over time. Stock breaks up out of that either wedge or triangle, whatever you want to call it. It's a wedge. We break to the upside, run up there to $4 a share. And now it's pulling back. And now it's pulling or holding at the area it broke out from that pattern and continuing to build up off of that. It's gearing up to run up and test that 4 again. And if it breaks up over 4 right there, it'll get a good run up all the way up here to $4.50. So breaks up over 4, then you'd be looking for 4 to hold up as support right here, build up off of that, and push up to 450, pull back. See, stocks like to move in stages. That's why I've made multiple videos trying to preach across the board. Try to focus on areas of interest and focus on psychological levels like $3.50 right here. $4.50, because this is where everybody is putting their buy and sell orders. Nobody is randomly buying and selling at $3.61. No, they're going to focus on these psychological levels, even levels. So every 25 cent, every 50 cent, every $1, it's going to act as natural support and resistance. All these big banks, institutions, they're all trading on these psychological price levels. Even here with TKAT, it ran up recently almost to $5. So just below $5. Then it fell all the way down here. And if you were to just focus on that 350 level, some people, they try to pinpoint price action. And to me, you can't really do that. Don't try to pinpoint price action, because you're just going to stress yourself out, is what you're ultimately going to do. you're going to have a brain overload. If you guys remember, and seen that movie, Wolf of Wall Street, the scene where he's out to lunch with his broker buddy, and he's telling him all day you're crunching these numbers in your head and you're just going to spaz yourself out. Don't do that. Don't spaz yourself out. Keep it simple. The KISS method. That was part 2 right there, real quick, of what we recorded earlier. Some people watching today, you guys over there on YouTube, what I just got done explaining with chart patterns like this, how they break out from a pattern and watch for it to come back and hold. Like, damn, I never knew that before. Say, what, J. Calvin? You got lucky, dude. Shh. They rewarded you for complaining. That's what happened. That's a good bonus, I guess. MNTS. See, man? It flushed out to that $4. I could have swore today that we said that's the area it needed to hold up. See, man, it can be hard, man, because a lot of people, they're seeing a bottom right here, and they're putting this is why I'm not a fan of using hard stops. People, and especially tight stops, people put in tight stops just below here, all down in here, all tight, hard stops. And if you would have just gave the stock room to move, focus on the areas, focus on $4. If it can hold above $4, that general area. This stock came all the way down. It took all these people out, and now they would have been up in profit. You got think about the head games that's gonna play with you, you know? All those people who got stopped out, they're all like, man, if I would have held it, it would have been a winner. And then they let their emotions overtake them, and then they re-enter back in on the stock, and they're emotionally trading. And then you got the market maker. He's over there laughing because he's getting paid per commission, motherfucker, per transaction. So he just made money on you from buying right here. He made money on you by stopping you out. Now he's making money on you chasing after the stock again. Now you got to sell to either take that profit or cut it for another loser. So he got you 4 times. That's the game they play. You gotta. It's a twisted game, man. There's a YouTube channel out there. I don't think many people know about it. You guys in the YouTube or in the Discord, you guys know about it. It's called Confessions of a Market Maker. Yeah. This channel right here. Confessions of a Market Maker. And he's only got 17,000 subscribers. This guy, he's a co-host. He used to be a market maker in the stock market, in the NASDAQ. Of course I'm gonna listen to this guy and what he has to say. Versus, this just doesn't make sense to me. Versus someone like Humble Trader. This girl's oblivious to what the hell's going on, and she's got almost 1 million subscribers. I don't even pay attention to this girl. I feel so sorry for everybody that gets suckered into her. This is where all your answers are right here. Confessions of a Market Maker. And everybody overlooks this. Doesn't have a flashy profile picture. He doesn't have flashy thumbnails. This is where the gold's at, you guys. Remember, the big thing, people want to be entertained. That's why they won't sit through. A lot of people, they're not going to sit through an hour-long video. An hour, 2-hour-long video here. Me, I'll throw my headphones on. I'll listen to the whole thing. 2 hours. I don't care. As long as I'm educating myself. And that's where the passion part comes in. If you don't have a passion for the stock market and you don't want to willingly educate yourself and grow, if you have to force yourself to sit through this, watch these educational videos, there's no way you're gonna make it, brah. There's no way. Man, look at that. MNTS here on this day from 370s ran all the way up to a high of 470s. Then they pull it back lunch hours and they consolidate it. Whenever a stock's in consolidation and it's up and in play, like the hot stock of the day, don't ever, ever, ever get in and hold for a consolidation like this, because you don't truly know which way that stock's going to go from that consolidation. It's a 50-50. So at what you do, you either trade just the back and forth range or you wait for the stock to pick a direction. This thing flushed out, took everybody out, and then they lingered it around the rest of the day and then brought it right back up at the end of the day. Next day, what did it do? It ran after hours. So just think of the head games that plays with you. Like, you got in here, it took you out, and then after hours, it's running up to almost $5. That's going to screw with your head. Definitely. Yeah, man, those tight stops. I've never been a fan of using hard tight stops, man. Never. I've always been more of like getting in and getting a feel for a stock. Getting used to the move of the stock, getting a feel for it. If I get bad vibes or bad juju, I bail out on it. And then you got those people out there. It's just, we're all different, man. I see a lot of people, they like to use super hard stops, like they're wanting to risk like 10 pennies, and then they're trying to make like $1, like being a penny pincher, you know. And then you have those gurus out there like Tim Sykes. He preaches, have a hard stop in place. And in penny stocks, that's hard, man, because these stocks, they move very little. BWV dipping down now to 11. We broke down from that wedge this morning, right here. Held as resistance from where it dropped out of the wedge. Now it's falling down. $11, $10.50. I don't know how far they take it. I'm still not giving up on it. I wouldn't say support's at 975. I would say the low is at 975. Or so you got your low here at 970s, no. I could see the stock exploding up. It's all about timing, man. That's the hardest thing. And all of you guys in the Discord know what I'm talking about. Timing is the hardest thing. You can see it. How many times have you seen a setup? Like, man, I could see that stock. Clear as day, I could see it going higher. But how long it take? Like 6 hours later for it to play out, or 3 days later for it to play out and it do exactly as you thought? It's all like a realization. Like, that's why options, man. Options, the time decay on it. It's hard to pinpoint where support is on this one. All you can really go off of is the low and every level that it's built up off of. Next one below that is there. 1150 down to 11, 1050, 10, 950. When you look at it, it's only $2. $2 downside versus the upside potential that the stock has over 13. We're looking at $7 or more of upside potential versus a $2 pullback. We don't know how far it'll pull back. So we'll see how she sets up and plays out. She's obviously broken the downtrend. It broke it right here this morning. So now what it's doing, it's like slowly pulling back and gearing up. And we don't know how far back it's going to pull back and gear up for that snap to the upside. Same thing as I was saying with this SST. It's the same exact thing, pretty much, just repackaged differently. looking back on this thing ultimately had a big run up here, and it collapsed and fell apart really hardcore, starting at 32 bucks right there. 30 to $31, I'll say. So from 31, this fell all the way down to 21, and you could just see the negative energy that this stock had, right? It kept making lower highs, lower lows. It was getting drilled down, and then it started to level out. And then the next morning pre-market, there's your indicator right there. It's broken the downtrend. And look at what they did. They pulled it back all day, gearing it up. So from 21 that morning, they pulled this all the way down to 18 bucks. That's a $3 pullback. Came back up, trended back up to 21 in the high of day. Reclaimed that 20 bucks. Still, when you look at it, it's broken that downtrend and it's trying to set up for that bounce. And then when you fast forward, that's the results that you get. So it's like you gotta train yourself to spot this. That's what the smart money's doing, the 10%. But sometimes it doesn't play out the way that you put things together, and you got to be okay with that. You got to be accepting of that. Not every idea is going to pan out. And the quicker you come to that realization and just cut it and move along, be okay with the loss, is what it is. That's why your position size, that's super, super, super important. And look what this did ultimately. From that $18 level, this ran up 35 bucks. A heck of a run. I don't know, man. This is gonna take a minute. I'd say if it drops down below that previous day's close, it's done. It ain't gonna bounce. Twitter's getting drilled. It failed to claim previous day's close up there at 48. Look at SBFM crawl back. Right at that $6 where it was trying to take off from at the beginning. It kept stalling out at that 6. Wow. The $1.50 bounce. I mean, this could up over 750 and 8. This can run back up here to 9. You look at ATR. ATER. It was trending for the longest time here. Let's see if I can draw a good trend line on this. It started trending here. Then it really started to trend right there. See when it broke that trend? See how it was acting all as resistance? Like just below it? For shorts, that's their indicator to start getting in. Now it's going to start cracking. $4.50. This thing's going to crack and fall all the way down here to 4. Bounce off of 4, back up, and then ultimately crack 4, fall down here, about 350s. Measure out this whole move here. About 50%. About at 375. Right there. Maybe $4. There goes TKAT. That would have been an easy, effortless play, man. This one was a good one. In hindsight, you know? Yeah, that's a beautiful play. Nice. Nice, Rome. This idea plays out, you're gonna be like a genius. Just a waiting game now. I mean, it's been a waiting game. I mean, it's a earshot away, man. This thing starts surging right back up to that 1250. There's no history of volume on this stock, really. Looking at the daily chart, on average, look at that. Every day it was only doing like a couple thousand a day in volume. So it's not like anybody's trapped on this stock. Now that I look at it, and it makes sense. It's like, see how they pulled it down nonstop here? And when it finally broke right there, it ripped up. Look at how they decayed it all the way back down. And then even lower, they pushed it. And then it ripped back up to new highs right there. So it's almost like this, what happened, this is happening again. All the way back down to here. You could even put a line on this thing, man. Look at how tightly they're pulling that back. Like, they're just... You could just see it clear as day. They're purposely pulling it back. That rubber band is getting so tight. Imagine the guy that said that right here, all the way down here. That would have sucked. From 21. Yeah, it'll break anytime, guys. Yeah. All the way down to 10 bucks. That would have sucked. I think that's a perfect example right here that you should never, ever, ever anticipate reversals when they're pulling back like this. Always wait for that confirmation, for that trend to break, for it to pull back. What? There's... I honestly don't see... I don't see how somebody made 70K yesterday, going long on this yesterday. I do not see how. During market hours or including after hours? The only way I see any type of long on this maybe right here. For a scalp. As it was getting halt down and volatility was picking up on this, and it finally broke out right there, and it pulled back right here to about, what is that, 2150, and then it rips up to 2550, maybe right there. I have no clue. That's a long time to be patiently waiting. Ah, that's crazy. What? Makes no sense, dude. So starts accumulating just below 15 bucks. He just kept adding and adding and adding and adding and adding and adding and adding. That can be dangerous, man. Super dangerous. That's playing with fire. And then it finally popped up. And it only ripped up. Hit a high at $13.50. So you had $3.50 in upward momentum there. And it shot up. And he ate up all his accumulation here. Break even, push up profit, break even. All the way back to where he first started. Just below it. I don't know, man. And that's big size. Big size. That's crazy, dude. I couldn't even... That had to have been stressful. That's crazy, dude. That's insane. Who is this guy? Like, you know him personally? It's wild, man. Yeah, a lot of people short in penny stocks. Because most fail. Most of them fail. It's very competitive. Shorting penny stocks. Everybody wants to be like Steven Ducks and Tim Gertani. Yeah, now that you say that, yeah. That's a wild strategy he's got there. To me, it's like it's all in the way you look at things. We all have different perspectives and we're all in our own unique situation. This guy, for all I know, he's got a lot of FU money, you know? Who knows? He could have $20 million in the bank. So him loading up like he did, that's chunk change to him. And we're all in our own unique situation, like I said. And the way I'm looking at this chart, it's like, man, set up a wedge right there, and everybody's thinking, how far are they gonna pull this thing back? It's gotta bounce. It's gotta bounce, right? It's gotta bounce. And from $20, they just slowly fade it all the way down to $10. No bounce whatsoever. So imagine all the people buying in on it as it's just going lower and lower, and the people who ain't selling, the people who are adding onto positions, and you finally get a pop and it stalls out. Yeah, that's a long time to be trading, man. He was trading then. Yeah, he's been in the game for a long time. He was around during the dot-com boom, the financial crisis. He's seen the markets evolve a lot, so you've got a good buddy there. Definitely. You can gain a lot of wisdom from traders like that. I got a lot of wisdom. You guys might have remembered back in the day. He'd come in here all the time. Sully. He gave me a lot of wisdom. I don't talk to him much anymore, but he he I would say he calmed me down because I was so on edge and eager, and I had like that feeling like I gotta learn this, I gotta learn it. And he was just like, brah, how long have you been educating yourself and studying hardcore? And I'd be like, about 3-4 years nonstop. And he's like, dude, you know what you're doing. Just freeball it, man. Who cares what you think other people think? You got all the information, now act on it. When he said that, it's like everything clicked for me, and I started to trust myself more. And I stopped caring what people said on Twitter, what people said in YouTube videos. Sometimes all you need is just a push, right? Ooh. AKAN. This is a new name, IPO 2. Look at this bad boy on the daily chart. It's IPO. It opened here at 31. Sold off. It flatlined. It's been building. up over 10, probably run up here. $13 breaks up over 13. See, the thing is though, it already bounced right there with that wick. I think this one, AKAN, it's worth throwing on the back burner, seeing how it unfolds. So I'm going to add this to my watch list. It's a pot stock. Yo, TSRI. We just pulled this up earlier. This one's still building. TKAT runs up test 4. So now TKAT, I would say 375. Pulls back down to that. Builds off of 375. Runs back up. Blows up over 4. This thing's slowly but surely building. We put this together a while back. This was a good set longer term swing. I wish I would have acted on that. I appreciate that, Rome. I do. It's man, I would say a lot of it I just learned from the right people, man. I started learning from the right I learned from the right people. I started in the right spots. First thing I started learning about was candlesticks. And I obsessed over candlesticks for months. And then I moved on to Tim Sykes. And if you know Tim Sykes, Tim Sykes won't teach you about technical analysis. He won't. He's more fundamental analysis. He'll teach you how to spot garbage, scammy stocks and companies. And he preaches a lot of good, healthy practices. He's a good teacher, but a lot of stuff he talks about beginners will overlook. Then from Tim's, I obsessed over Tim Sykes for I think it was 2 years. 2 years straight. I obsessed over Tim Sykes, learning all his stuff. And then I went to Dekmar Trades. He really put things together for me when it came to technical analysis and how to read chart patterns and trend lines and all of that, playing momentum. And then throw a little bit of Investors Underground and Clay Trader. And before they were called My Investment Club, when Bao was by himself and when Alex was by himself, and right when he was just leaving SMB Capital, before they did my investment club. Those were all the people I learned from. And it's weird when you're just starting out in this game. It sucks for a lot of people because they start learning immediately from the wrong people, like the humble trader. And you're just going to get a lot of fluff. You're going to get taught a lot of bad practices. And once you learn those practices, it's hard to break those habits. And when you're new getting into this, you're going through a lot of first-time experiences. It's a trip, man. It's a trip learning this game. I mean, even to this day, I've been doing this for a while. I'm still learning and growing myself. It's a never-ending process. I'm even learning and growing to be a better person and a better man in my personal life. So all of this is my whole world, man. It trickles down into every aspect of my life. But anybody can get good at reading charts, man. You just gotta practice at it. You just gotta have an open mind. I think I try to preach good, healthy practices for breaking down and reading charts. And for you guys that listen, you find it a lot easier. You can easily tell if a stock has potential. DWV still pulling back. That's a big topic, man. Because it's like we all perceive things differently. And we all have different outlooks on things. And we all have our own beliefs, you know? That's it's a touchy subject. Learning from different people and what they swear by. We all have our own eyes. I would say always gravitate. Even if I bash it, I say screw MACD, screw pivot points. That's my belief. It may work for you. You may see something in those that you can capitalize on. For me and my style, I like to keep it super simple. I like to try to listen to a chart. What's the story? What's unfolding? What's the current trend? And even as I continue to show up every day, I'm evolving more and more. Like, I'm starting to, I don't want to just scalp stocks. I don't want to do that no more. I did it for so long and it's a lot less. It's more stressful scalping stocks. It really is. I think there's a lot more money to be made and a lot of easy money to be made on swing trades and big picture idea trades. So at this point in my career, I'm evolving into big picture swing trading ideas that could play out all day or even a couple days. That's another thing, yeah, too. When you have all of those indicators up, you get sidetracked and you overlook the simplicity of it. You can easily overlook something. That's why, I mean, I've tried it all in my career. I've tried it all. I just never cared for them. I mean, I had a lot of people tell me, if you use Fibonacci all the time, you would really like Elliott Wave. That correlates with Fibonacci a lot. I dove into Elliott Wave. I learned all I could. I've tried it. I just don't care for it. I like it. I like Elliott Wave, and I like the theory of it. I like it, and it makes sense. And that itself has a cult following. I just don't care to use it. It's pretty much the same analogy like a basketball bouncing, and it putters out, and it's going to do it in waves. There's all kinds of theories out there. I like them all. I like the history of everything. Yes, sir. Always try to keep an open mind. Learning from multiple people is a fantastic thing. Definitely. Definitely. By learning from different people, you get to see different personalities, how people perceive the market, how they perceive things. And you can really tell how much experience somebody has just by just by breaking down a chart. You can really tell. That's funny. See you later, Rome. Be safe out there, man. I'll be hanging around with this BWV. And this too in itself is like a new philosophy theory that I've been experimenting with. And for you guys like BW, Old Army Guy, Hawk, Anchorman, you guys listening in on this, what I'm talking about is when you see a setup and how many times have you said like, man, I could just see this thing going up higher. Like I see it all day. And you get in on it and then you take a loss. And then you walk away and you come back hours later and the stock did exactly as you thought. It's like going with your instinct and gut. That's I'm going through that evolution in my career right now. Like I see the potential in this BWV too. But there is a thing too. As they say, if you focus too much time on one specific stock, you're going to start to see things that aren't there, right? You're going to start to see patterns that aren't there. You're going to start convincing yourself. That's why I keep trying to change it up and switch to different charts to see what else is going on. That I don't want to sit there and just stare at BWV. Man, this managing chart drawings, I've been going through it every time I sign in. I'm only on the H's. I had to start at the A's and work my way down. This is over 6 years of stocks that I have to go through and delete. That's so stupid. I don't like that about Street Smart Edge. What I've come, if you're gonna do this and you got a lot of them, I've come to learn the more you delete in one sitting like this, it's gonna start to slow down and it's gonna take a minute for it to delete. So the best thing to do is hit done, exit out, log out, let it save, and then you just gotta relog back in. And on average, I've been deleting about 50 before it starts to slow down and get slow, and then I gotta log out and do it again. See how it's taking a minute to shut off and save my settings. I'll reload this back up. Log back in. I'll show you guys the message it prompts me with. That might be why it takes a minute for it to load up, too. Here's that message right here. Your settings are exceeding 30 megabyte in size. This increases the risk of them becoming corrupted. A high number of chart drawings accumulated over the weeks and months usually is the cause for such large settings. it's recommended you use the manage chart drawings option on your charts and delete drawings for the symbols you no longer follow closely. To find it, right click on any chart or click on the its actions menu. And I messaged Street Smart Edge and I said, yo, is there like a magic button I can hit to just erase everything? He said, no. Every chart is specific to the drawings that you put. So I'm like, really, brah? Really? So once again, manage chart drawings, and then just go through it and exit. See how I can fly through them pretty fast. But the more you delete, the slower it gets, and you gotta restart it. Peace out, Hawk. I'm still holding BWV. Wow, JAGX. That's an old one. See, it's getting real slow now. Now I'm at the K's. So I'm about halfway through the alphabet. Done. Exit, log out, do it again. I hope that this thing helps out with the speed. it might come down to it. I may have to hold on to this DWV over the weekend. I don't want to, but this thing Monday could easily gap up. I don't want to say never. Make sure you this is going to be like a weekly thing for me. Probably every Friday I'm going to clean it up. This is just too much. I didn't even know about this. That's the crappy thing. So I'd say every Friday I'd go through and delete all your lines. Unless it's a stock that you come back to regularly. You know what I'm saying? Oh, the background? Nice pick. Yeah, it changes every day. I have it set, let's see. The settings on my computer, it's set up to change that picture. It pulls it from something every day. There you go, right there. The theme. Go to background. It's pulling it from the internet every day. In case you're wondering why I keep signing in and out, I'm just going through and deleting all of these old chart drawings. Try and speed up my Street Smart Edge. We got anybody here listening and watching that plays MLB The Show? If so, let me know. I'm a huge baseball guy. Maybe we can link up and play a game. I'm on Xbox. So if you're on PlayStation, I think the show came to the Switch this year, the Nintendo Switch. I play a lot of Diamond Dynasty. I'll jump on Twitch and I'll stream. I'll play it usually. That and zombies. I mean, we've been building on BWV. It has been making higher lows. So we're making progress. Let me go on Twitter real quick and see what they're saying on this stock. Let's see what this stock says on Dojo. Log in on it. Dang. DJ. Oh, okay, I gotcha. BWV is a snail. I'm thinking BWV might have got super diluted, not acting like a 3 million float stock. Their IPO in February was only for 2.2 million shares. BWV, if you look at it, it has been building. Like here it bottomed at 9. Then it came to 950 and held. It bottomed here at 1074. So it's trying to build. It's trying. I think if we hold up, can't draw support. I'm going to say 1050. 1050. We can rip up. I mean, you could tell they're pulling it back. Like, still got 3 hours left in the day. And you never know, man. Monday, this thing could be gapping up. I'm gonna stick with it for now. It is a snail, though. I agree with you. It's a snail. But on the bright side, I'm in the O's and deleting all of my old chart drawings. So I'm getting there. Slowly approaching the P's. Watch out. I think Robinhood just came out with crypto wallets. I joined the waiting list for it. I'm not getting prompted with that message anymore too about my memory, so that's good. Now I'm on the R's. Just hanging out with you guys playing the waiting game for this BWV. Oop. Let me open up my Robinhood. Should have a deposit coming in on my Robinhood for 100. To buy more Bitcoin. Bitcoin's at 43,500. Oh man, I see the finish line getting near with this. The scroll thing's getting bigger with every click. I'm finally almost at the finish line. Done. I wonder if they have an app for Robinhood where I can just click on a no, I don't want you to show at the end. TKAT's up and running. Nope, there's no Robinhood app. Bitcoin price monitor. That's weird. Hmm. I didn't know they had all these different courses on here. They're, I don't know if they're free. They have to have Yahoo Finance. What? You don't? Chart Genie? Might just have to keep you guys updated on this position. Watch, as soon as I get off, it's gonna explode. Yeah, that's that shit. You guys on YouTube, I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. Be safe out there. Have a good weekend if I don't see ya. You guys in Discord, I'll keep you guys updated on BWV.